Ladies and gentlemen, what other type of day should it be other than an RSX Grand Final? I'm Sin, I'll be your host and caster for the day. Eyes red, just the allergies, but it's 9:02 a.m. currently in the morning, and we should be able to have a best out of 5 series, infinite overtime here on the board today. With no introduction, both of these teams are very well known throughout the EU competitive scene, but without further ado, let me get this yapping out of the way and let's take a look at the map that is ahead of us for the day. As we head on over to the well-beloved Nighthaven Labs, ladies and gentlemen, lots of people actually argue what the better side is first, but it's so obviously defense. It's just so broken. It's just so much you can do, and it just makes the map so much better to see. But currently, as we were talking on before, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be in a best out of 5 series. In this best out of 5 series, we are going to be seeing these teams fight for their maps. It's all about that first impression that they can give us, and currently, let us see what they have for us today. As it stands, you will have Molotov defending first, and taking a look at the board today, the first map is obviously going to be Nighthaven, and the ones to line up shortly after is going to be Lair, Cafe Dostoevsky, Skyscraper, and Consulate. So that puts up a very competitive scene today, but again, makes it all right. Apologize for the quiet here on this, ladies and gentlemen. Just gotta lock in real quick. Move everything here. And as we head on over, we go to the basement for first sight. Now, as we head on over to the basement, we are going to see the bans rain on in, taking care of 2 shield ops. Now, since the recent meta, lots of players have been integrating Monty, Blitz, and Blackbeard into their attacking roster. And honestly, with the reason that 3 operators are absolutely broken no matter how many nerfs they've been receiving, and it's been a problem here to be able to contain them. We've seen post-plant scenarios where Monty can just walk around and just get smacked 35 times, and regardless of that smacking to that shield, he will not move. That's been a problem for the last season, and it's yet to be addressed. He's left on the board, and he's able to be used, and I'm quite interested to see how LDL will line up here. Bringing all the staple operators, they're left with Deimos, they're brought with the soft breacher, and they have the hard breacher, so everything that's needed to be brought is on their board. The question is, do they have enough to be able to capitalize? The first thing on the chopping block is to be clearing out Garage. That breach that's reinforced currently oversees that Animus hatch. It's just too important to leave unopened. So, pressure onto Garage raining on in. The soft breaches are going to go in. Boogie drone being used on the verticality here on IT to be able to find anybody trying to play a warehouse. Nobody's sitting there so far, and there's only one soft arm. He's sitting near kitchen, and the other one's on the 3rd floor, which was the sentry. Variax can get lucky here, somehow not finding the Valkyrie camera, but finding the drone. It's going to be a game of ring around the rosy here. He has to just make sure not to fall to that pistol. But he'll manage to recover the C4, and IQ just barely misses it. Somehow manages to relay it back in, and he will have that utility. Nikon really just waiting up here. Top Cargo waiting to run down this clock, and it's all about the time factor that they bring today and here and right now. Harv getting a very easy kill for his teammate. That's why you drone, ladies and gentlemen. Nikon getting taken care of, and that eases up the pressure from Cargo. Can't be giving up rounds, especially on Nighthaven defense. Need to be able to capitalize where you can, but there's still another layer they need to pull back. Think of this hold as like an onion. Multiple layers to hold, and they still haven't dissected the kitchen site yet. Mozzie being a main problem to deal with, and since then, we'll seek Asylum in sight alongside with the Frost, leaving SN all by himself in this kitchen. Lots of pressure going to build up here continuously, but as we approach that 1-minute marker, it'll all be about that time. Just finally finding that C4 kill, really making the most of it now, running down the clock. His team is now leveled out, and the full verticality hasn't been established because they have to worry about what's going on here. As they wait and they wait and they wait, there's just nothing they can do to be able to guarantee easy access into site as they are slowly losing the grip they had. Animus open. Verticality is going to be the drop, but it's going to be a sound cover as he's going to try to drop the Animus hat. Oh, time so scarce. Who is going to be able to find that refrag? MolotovGang, they've lost RSX as well, meaning you don't have that C4. Just goes down to 1 HP to make matters worse. They still have the verticality established, and now they've committed fully to Animus. There's 2 bodies there. Not a single C4 in the hand. Frost is aggressive, though. The kid's gone loose, and that's a double kill. Sand finds another one, making it a 3v2. Harf recovering the case, only having the verticality established. That's the only thing he can rely on. And he'll fall down to a Frost mat, leaving only one man, Zachariah, on the verticality. That G8 in a dream, trying to find one. The case still loose, and everybody else seeking refuge in the depths of sight. 4, 3, 2, 1 as the beautiful first round reeled back on in by MolotovGang. Almost a throw there as just walked into the bullets of this ACOG, but it'll all be over as they managed to reel it back in. They fell the first body. They almost fell the second one, but honestly, they're here to adapt. They're here to play aggressive, and that's exactly what we see in this first round. A beautifully well-pitted first round will take us upstairs now. Command in servers is the name of the game. No Mira being brought so far. It just looks like it's something that's regional. So when you look at the NA scene, as I am a Canadian caster, you look at the NA scene, you see Mira being brought upstairs every single time. Now, she's not banned, meaning it is possible to be brought, but we're seeing the shield on Waterfall, and we're seeing a cohesive push. You have the Fenrir, you have the Tabaro to band it up, and now you have the Azami to be able to play Garage. This in itself is an already amazing push. Mira sometimes makes it harder to be able to push this Garage section, but right now, to each their own, it's working out for them so far. Aggression from MolotovGang wasn't even there. They just waited to receive the pressure from LDL. They capitalized upon their mistakes. That's honestly what you can expect to see continuously. Tabaro's such an important operator this season. Just so much essential denial and almost first blood going in the favor of Ina as he almost manages to wallbang that repelling Twitch. Connector breach gets opened up with little to no hesitation, leaving 2 more breaches, being the IT one and the connector single. Clock ticks down. The most essential thing is they get their drones done, look for verticality in case of C4s, and get the breaches open before they advance. Mavericks being brought, meaning it'll be 10 times easier. Don't have to worry about that bandit tricking, and you can find easy shots to the toes as we've just seen. That could have been a fatality there for Ina, but he's just not going to entertain it and is actually going to retreat and leave Garage via reinforcement. Surprisingly, nobody pushing electrical just yet. Taking their sweet time to be able to try and capitalize should be their main idea. That's first blood there, ladies and gentlemen. Unsert to capitalize, taking care of Warden. Also important for that post-plant scenario. Unsert finding 2. He's just a demon to get in front of, and he is managing to carve it on up from here. But you've got to be mindful. That's the second time you've died to C4 on the verticality, and that'll be a refrag quite easily. Now, looking for something here. The breach. I don't know what this is, but it looks quite glitched to me. 2v4 as LDL are put in a very hard spot to be able to try and capitalize. But again, we've seen how they can manage to reel it in. That's just for 2. Enough to find the next MP7 duo as they shred out. The kit goes loose, and now it goes to a 2v2 scenario. They are ripping it up from within, but Zachariah has something to say about that, and the double team needs to be perfect, or we're going to be seeing a horrific round. Ina to continue to shred up everybody, isolating his ones. You just need to win it. You need to advance as the flashes get used. He stays close, but Zachariah just advancing with the flash grenade, using it to his favor, and that's a response from LDL to put them at level. control storage. They'll go middle floor, and they won't lose a wink of sleep trying to go back up there. They're just gonna try something else, and if it doesn't work out, maybe we'll see another play. But as it stands right now, 1-1, and they managed to almost reel it back in. Just the teamwork from IT just fell off for a second, and that was enough for LDL to be able to hop on and punish. But the main thing here, it's so important that they don't lose a lot of defensive rounds. It's also important, especially on a defender-sided map. This is LDL's pick, map granted, but again, find your rounds where you can. Hopefully, if they can manage to continue to do what they did that first round, we will be seeing a halftime that isn't too favorable of one side. Verticality seems to be established of some sort. You're not going to see a wall deny here brought for IT. They're just going to be soft setting it up. Electrical seems to be a high point of interest here. Wamai being brought with the AUG. Not a very frequent thing we see here. Extromer Castle on the other side of the map. This is going to be a little interesting. Excuse me. Mataraya using that first frag to be able to open up the castle barricade on rafters, and it should be that point of attack they look for next. First blood here, make that 2. Nikon finds a response, but where? As they manage to find 2 kills outside the building before needing to get their hands dirty. That's a 1 for 2 special now, as the garage breach remains open, and MolotovGang yet again find themselves in a deficit. Mira finally being brought here, but just to hold upstairs. Really trying to bring things down here, and really trying to ease up on the timer. Variax now assigned with keeping warehouse locked down. He has the crosshair into the garage, and now nobody supports him. So if he loses his body, it'll be essential. But now, Lunar's advanced into the site, and they've started to lose their overall grip on site. Ethan being the double kill here of Lunar's hairs, and now Variax is taken out shortly after. 1v3, and so much left to do here, but he looks like he's up to the task as he's left in a 1v2 situation. Verticality established again, but he'll floor bang, and he'll manage to clutch it. An absolute demon. It doesn't matter if you're verticality, above or below, in front or behind. He'll take care of you. 3 headshots to reel it back in, and that'll be MolotovGang to reestablish their lead. Basement the site again. It's been 3 rounds since they've last won it. It's unlocked. And you know what's unlocked? The attacking of LDL. That is a crazy way to lose a round. And that is something that is just, wow, oh so fabulous to have in a grand final. You're on your opponent's map, and you manage to be able to do that. What a clutch, and it's well-deserved. But you can't just be relying on one person to be able to clutch it up. Need to reel it on in, and they need to take their time. All quiet on the western front as somebody looks to advance. Taking their sweet time to find something here. Basement is going to be the site yet again. IQ hopefully gets lucky this time around. Was a problem when she was just waltzing on in and not using a C4 in time. Now, finding those Valkyrie cameras, not the best of ideas, but it is going to be a problem. Currently, as it stands, 2 roamers, and they'll be the ones to try and deny. Kitchen, again, being that main point, it was definitely a problem to deal with. And Mozzie is going to be the first man to fall to that death mark. He's going to take refuge right back into the site. And looking to get lucky here. The aggression might be met with a gun, with a bullet to the face as he waits, and Ash makes her whereabouts known as now. It'll all spring out into action, and the gunfights are going to start and emerge. Verticality being established, taking their sweet old time, but now it's going to be a factor is if you can be mindful of the clock. Just to make matters worse, he'll manage to find one. RSX looking to get lucky again. No C4 in hand this time. It'll be a game of ring around the Rosie, and he'll be able to fall. That R4C, not a gun you want to play with on the verticality. He'll fall. It'll be a 4v4 as we get to the below 1 minute marker. You find Unser in the middle of sight, managing to just lock in, find any form of gunfights, and he's having a great old time with that as he advances on towards the site. Still so much left to do, and the question is, can he do it in a timely manner? Unser looking to make something happen here. And can he do it? Looking to get lucky. Where is Bandit going? And somehow Nikon walks out of that alive, unscathed, but quickly wallbanged by Harv. Shut out Rhea yet again, and it's a refrag. Nobody has their individual factor here. They're all shut out one by one. In the T5, P shooter with that suppressor on it, but doesn't really matter. They're trying to hold them at bay. 15 seconds left on the clock, and you have to be mindful of your time, especially when there's a man on the flank. You might have dropped a little too soon. Just play the time until the plank goes down, but for some reason you didn't do that, and your team will suffer. 2-2 now as it goes level yet again. Beautiful first couple of rounds here. Both teams really showing us why they want to take home a victory in the first map. But as of now, it'll definitely be a problem if they can't reel it on in. Now, speaking on both teams, Molotov, they have the individual clutch factors. They have everything needed to be able to clutch on up. But it's going to be a problem if you just can't find the ability to have the teamwork instead of just relying on one person to clutch it up. RSX to find that very, very narrow third round in a clutch, and now LDL to team up and find 2. Now MVG, they could have had a completely different scoreline here, but they didn't use their intel, their audio, and their teamwork to be able to find it. Taking their sweet old time, looking for that kill external. You always want to see if you can manage to find a kill outside the building before you even step foot. It's always so nice to be able to find a defender lurking, and we've seen that happen twice so far. Scopos being brought here, one of those very versatile operators. Hitbox is absolutely broken considering she's a goddamn robot. AR in hand, she can teleport and reset her health, and she has impacts. Your ideal roamer for anybody who likes to get aggressive. RSX looking to get lucky here, but the comm will go. There is a man in garage as the site is going to be in the basement yet again. You need to be able to look to have a response. You've just lost it. You need to find something here. As the engagement's going to go between Kitchen yet again, and somehow unscathed, Mataraya gets double hit by Goo Mines. He's going to fall to this if he can't hold it out, and by the assist of his Goo Mine, he will fall, but a quick refrag from Zachariah is enough to do the job, and that'll be the next gunfight for Lunar to win here as they're advancing towards the site. man crawling. There's a man waiting. And Legion looking to capitalize yet again. And that's Ihsan. Because what's new, Scooby-Doo? He'll manage to shut down everybody who gets closer and closer to his crosshairs. Still looking to clear him is going to be a problem for the attackers if he continues his reign of terror as he just sits close, waits, and runs down the clock. Completely unaware that there is a camera on him. You better hope to God it wasn't spotting you. What did you think was going to happen at the 2v3 by the assist of Mataraya's Sludge? Verticality being established yet again. Something I like about this team. They take their sweet time to be able to establish their control onto the site, and that's exactly what they're doing. Animus Hatch now open as well as they look to advance or look to go for a plant here. So much left to do for either team, but MolotovGang has managed to fall short of it. Obviously, they can manage to turn this around quite fast. Using it a little bit too early. Could have used it to try and deny the plant, considering they're fully committing to an Animus push. Zachariah slumping Ina, leaving Nikon in a 1v3. Do you have the Variax clutch factor as you'll down the first? Plant not going down yet. Frag will finish him off. Unsert goes down to the frag as well. What is going on here? It's utter chaos. It's a game of Ring Around the Rosie until he can waste out the clock, and it's a second freaking clutch here for MolotovGang. They look like they want to play, and that is exactly what they'll do. It's a problem when you're dying to your own frag grenades, especially when your teammate that's just gotten down has fallen to it. Now, MolotovGang claim the lead, and we approach the last round of Defense they'll be on. We'll head on over to this top 4 site yet again. It's been 3 rounds since they've won it, and this is their last opportunity to try and grow their lead. The more you put LDL in a deficit, the more you make them struggle, and it's always so important you do so, especially when you're on their map. Wow, 2 players so far with their own individual clutch factor. Absolutely beautiful. You're seeing players rain on in here. They swing anything. You see everything lining up. The stars are definitely aligned for MolotovGang. Frag grenade to kill your own teammate as you find a frag to make it a 1v1. Haven't seen anything like that before, but just wow. As of now, looking to be sustainable in terms of time, and you always have to be mindful of the clock. Looking to find something, looking to try and find that first pick, but Maverick is definitely going to be that operator, that pain in the ass to deal with so early on in the round. They look to walk in here. They look to get lucky. Electrical and connector seems to be the next point of attack, as one man's already walked in and he goes up the name by Unser. No Brava this time to help you out, as you're going to have to go directly for gunfights. Bolt is in. Looks to get lucky. Banshee shot off for you, but now you have to advance on towards the site. Goyo position now thrown. You need to rotate. That's exactly what it'll do. First blood. It'll be Nikon to find Lunar. Hard to find Nikon. That's a quick refrag. And that's some efficiency to its max. As things stand, it's still a time and place where MVG have a good hold onto the site. Using their Vulcans, using their time to be able to establish site. And now Variax with a quick headshot is able to continue and terrorize. Main breach finally getting opened here. Upside down repel may prove to be fateful as Harv takes a couple of bullets to the chest, but not enough to call him out of this game. And now Unsert has an easy kill. He's just sticking his face in the breach. Aggression to its max as he knows he needs to find himself on the board, but just no connections yet. Nothing's easing up here for LDL. The pressure continuously gets worse as they need to look for something. They need to find a gap. They need to get aggressive, and finally they'll find a pick because Harv isn't stopping. Wolfine, the only 2 kills his team has found this round, and looks to continue and find these kills. Everybody now playing passive impact. C4's the best defender utility that you can hope for has now been brought, but Zachariah just waltzes in quickly, refragged out here by just as it leaves them off at a 2v2. It is just exchange after exchange, and it's so important that somebody here looks to get lucky, but using a Selma charge as a cover, oh, how effective is that going to be if he gets shot out? Harv trying to go for a plant here, but the C4 is definitely going to be fateful if Enoch can manage to land it. You have the C4. You don't. You've used it. Nobody knows when, but he runs to try to deny the plant, and that was not a great idea. Had a C4 a couple of seconds back, but now just completely disappears as we switch on over, and LDL go on to defense with 3 rounds in the pocket. Command and servers, the next on the chopping block. So much for them to be able to do here. The question is, are they up for the task? They've managed to narrowly advance on to defense with 3 rounds in hand. If they can continue to do what they're doing, we're going to see an LDL dominated game here as they advance 3 rounds on the pocket. And MolotovGang only relying on their individual clutch factors so far. And that's going to be a problem here if LDL figure out how to use their teamwork. As they look to be bringing a soft breacher, you can only think they're going to be going in below to try to get lucky here. You can find the verticality, you can find the claws, you can find the mirrors, you can find any form of utility here via verticality, and it's going to be a problem for LDL unless they have Aroma, which we just don't see. 5-man bunker down in the strat, and it's going to be a problem when the floor is getting shot out from under them. Arv looks to take that to a different level, but Lunar loses his HP in the meantime, and the gunfights have sprung into action here as Arv looks to try and find the buck, but he already has his teammate watching his back, and that is a crisis averted. Now, leaving it as things is, the breach gets opened. There's no other way. You go on to that breach. It is a death wish. Advancing up to garage, looking for something to get lucky here. It'll be Ascent teamed up with Enoch to try and find the mirrors, try to find the verticality, and it looks like they're doing a great job as the black mirror is soon to be popped. He has his eyes on him. He just needs to deliver that final nail in the coffin. Garage control being established as well. It's starting to become a push that goes in the favor of Molotov. They're losing all of the control of site. They've even just lost the first body. Oh, LDL, what's your response here? As there's oh so much to do and not enough time to be able to do it. Too many players put in horrible spots. And if there's a verticality player on this mute, this round is over if they can funnel this out. Varyax doubles that differential, but a refrag quickly from Mataraya gets himself on the board to find Nikon. Taking care, finally giving a response here and some aggression. Finally being met with some rewards as they'll take care of the IT pressure. And this is now a much more realistic situation their LDL can take home. Left at a 3v3, just under a minute left on the clock, and Unser claiming this position like his matters and his life depends on it. And he is definitely going to live up to that task as he continues to just reap what he sows as he finds 2, but quickly shut out after as Varyax finds a refrag. Leaves them stalemate 2v2, 27 seconds left at the clock, and Lunar is just here to capitalize. Finds one through an angle of doom, and that's yet again another round where MolotovGang gets the initial kill and has everything in their favor, and they still manage to just not be able to close it out. 15 seconds and not a single defender here is going to overly peak, and that'll be LDL to claim the lead. first and foremost. They head on over to the basement. They've won that first site, and quite easily in style, may I add. And they will continue to try to find their reign of terror and their footing with this momentum. They found 2 rounds in a row, and the question is, can they continue to grow this lead? You're on your own map. You're now 2 rounds shy away from the match point, and it looks like you're starting to find the disadvantages that MVG have. As it stands right now, MolotovGang falling short at every single area now, and it's starting to all crumble apart. Gonna be a mistake here if they cannot find their footing, and it's going to be that problem that's going to persist until they find something here. Brava, that operator that you usually see on this map has been prioritized a lot. Sometimes it just depends on how the team plays, but knowing the utility of each other, it's been seen on both sides regardless of what team. And now, the first gunfight is soon to happen as they look to clear out these roamers. Verticality, 2 through floors, is managing to almost find a kill here as Legion deals the damage, but not enough to be able to seal the deal. 5v5 on the clock, 5v5 on the bodies. What are you able to do? As they go for that double verticality, look to capitalize, but it's just going to continue to get worse and worse. You guys need to be able to capitalize here, as Harv is the only man in storage, and he's continuing to be a problem for you. But Varix takes matters into his own hand. Double kill here as he manages to just lock it in. He's not going home early, and he'll manage to find one in a continuous lead. Looking to find the next, but without further to say anything about that, a C4 lands on his head. Quick entry has been granted to Enod. The 2 roamers have been taken care of, leaving the others left in sight here. No C4s to look to get lucky here. 1 mirror that holds them in contempt of sight, but that is if there's no verticality, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. Aggression is going to be met by just trying to advance up the stairs, and Lunar has a flank of doom here, has an air jab waiting on him if he tries to advance up, but as of now, he can be a very essential factor that you have to worry about later on in this round. But that is Enod to open it all up, to open the site and make it susceptible to try to walk in. 2 Vulcans doubled up here on the breach is definitely going to be a problem. Unser camping out behind. That's also a problem. You have 17 seconds left to make magic happen, and you need to realize there's a gap in sight. Second Vulcan gets popped. They're just going to have to eat it or go for cargo. Maybe just hop through the rotate. Lunar now directly denying a plant, but now it'll be left into the hands of the man sitting behind the bomb. Just plants it, but for some reason you go aggressive. Kit still in hand. They'll fall short. You could have just planted behind the protected wall as you had your teammate with you, but they just fall short. Only seen it twice, including this round. We move on in to control and storage as our next site here. It's been played a little interesting by either side, but they are really locked in. as I'm loving the lead. I'm loving the aggression coming in here from LDL, as they're just one round away from taking it to the match point and eventually taking this map home. MolotovGang really starting it off with the aggression of Doom, but not being able to manage or capitalize on anything, and that's going to be a problem. They advance on in towards the site. As of now, both teams playing it out insanely well. As I've seen, MolotovGang fall short in 1 to 2 rounds, but it's honestly admirable the fact that they've kept the scoreline 3-5 on their opponent's map. They only have one hard breacher this time to be able to get matters done, but it's honestly just a mid-floor sentence that's all that will matter. Garage getting opened up here, looking to get IT open next, and there will be one committed person on this wall denying. He looks to get this breach quite easily, but it's a bait. Just knows better. They need to look to try to get lucky here. Putting your exothermic in the center of the breach usually proves to be fateful, because regardless of what round or what side they put it on, it'll get taken care of. IT will remain closed unless somebody has can openers, which doesn't seem to be the case, but as I didn't recognize, enough, we have the ace on the board. The clock ticking down, connector now being opened alongside with the garage breach, leaving IT the only one that's locked down here. Gonna be a problem for the attackers, but knowing how they managed to capitalize, it's not gonna be a problem. But having Lunar find the first pick, Harv the second, it looks like it's all gonna start falling down here for MolotovGang, as they cannot find any leeway on this site. They're being pressurized at every single turn. Lunar aggression works out in his favor yet again. Make that a 2v5. 1v5 as Zachariah capitalizes outside the window, making this a near flawless round. All they got to do is find this one kill. One more kill, and Mute has the ability to be able to do so, but get shut out. Narrowly avoiding the flawless round here as the defenders continue to circle around like sharks. Ehsan still not giving up. He'll go down to 1 HP. Unaware there's a man on the flank, or actually aware there's a man on the flank, but is the pistol enough to do the job here? Shut out. Almost impossible to do anything in that situation, and that'll be match point 3-6 in the favor of LDL. Match point, oh so important, and they'll unlock upstairs yet again. They had a great time when it came to the teamwork and it came to dissecting the attackers' push. If they can continue to do so, we are going to be in for a quite short map and a switch on over to the next one. If you are just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, we are in a best out of 5 series, with this being the first on Nighthaven Labs, the second being Layer, third being Cafe Dostoevsky, Skyscraper and Consulate being the 4th and 5th maps if we do need it. Drone economy, beautiful as they're pre-setting. They're getting everything set up here. And the defenders are just preparing for this last stand. They just need to manage to put this up one more round, and they'll be able to take home their map quite clean after a quite unsteady and rough start. Defense on Nighthaven is exactly where you want to be on that match point, and it just looks like, regardless of what side they would have been on, LDL, when they find their footing, they're rapid as they currently dissect every play here from Molotov. It looks like they'll go in their favor, but it's just a game of back and forth until they manage to emerge victorious. Unsert looking to be the man on the first line of defense here, as I meant to worry about outside garage. The other waits for him on the prone peak of the breach. Looks to get rid of this utility, as it is going to be a problem here unless they aren't going to. But Zechariah manages to land a C4 onto Just's face, and his torso will be blown off his body. That's first blood, quite easily, may I add, as now they advance on with a body in their pocket. Again, bringing the verticality operator, hoping there's nobody playing below. As we saw before, it played in their favor, considering they had the mirrors, they had the bandits, but now losing a body makes this oh so much harder. And if you lose the person that's adding the phantom pressure onto the garage, it's definitely going to be a problem. Maverick tries to get aggressive here, but no avail, just dealing 2 bullets to Lunar, but not enough to make it fatal. As Buck looks to get lucky, manages to get the Mira. Joy does connect here, but the breach is still not open, and you don't have your thermite anymore. You have your ace, and he is just committed to garage, regardless of what you want to do. He looks like he just wants to advance on towards the site. Moving rapidly, trying to get 1 or 2 things done here, but to no avail. They'll have 1 man on the verticality, just below a minute left on the clock, and LDL continue to hold this site beautifully. And if Ace walks into these crosshairs, it'll be a quick kill, but the reaction time just isn't fast enough here, managing to barely escape death. And the Wobbangs from Mataraya will make it a 3v5. Buck looking to get lucky, but double kill here is enough to make this round his. The superstar gets 2 and makes it even harder to be able to win this round, putting us at a 3-6 situation in a 1v5. Nikon managing to avoid the flawless hit again, but hard with the MPX is enough to be able to do the damage, do the deed, and call it game, as 3-7 is the scoreline for Nighthaven Labs. Perfect capitalization there by the man himself, playing as Zombie. First 2 kills to give him 3 and 7. Not the best of scorelines, but it worked out in his favor. That's map 1 done. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon after this break. Quick replay to be able to put us back into business, ladies and gentlemen. We'll head on over to Layer as our second map, and let's take a look at what's ahead of us before we get to yapping. They'll send us on as we approach the end of the ban phase. They're here to make things work. We saw the first round go in the favor of LDL, and now they've been gifted layered defense, and it's going to need to be absolutely beautiful here from Molotov to not allow a growing lead to continue to get grown. As we head on upstairs, it is going to be the first site played out here. Mira and Valkyrie taking the bans for LDL. The two common operators that really make a problem, but it also leaves Azami open to play, and she's also one of the best operators in the game. It's going to be a problem here to be able to deal with these operators, and let's see how MolotovGang will be able to adapt. Hopefully we'll see a Flores or somebody with soft breaches that can manage to capitalize in a timely fashion without trying to attack, you know, with 30 seconds left on the clock. The first round is soon to start. LDL have a game in hand, and they played it beautifully. They now move on to their opponent's home field. They just need to be able to try and find some rounds, or maybe even try to win this game, because if they do, there is no way in hell we're moving on to their next map on the series point where they will continue to struggle. Their momentum has been built up continuously, and they're ready every single time, regardless of the time, of the round, or of the situation. As Flores is going to be seen alongside with the Nook Shoddy, you are going to be seeing some interesting plays here as they look to dissect the info, the intel, while looking to get a pick. Getting opened up soon enough, but as of now, you'll just be able to take your sweet old time. Operational now getting open, and it all springs out into action. Zachariah taking the brunt end of the damage and meeting his maker as he's first blood for this map, and that'll put us at a 5v4 situation, leaving us at a situation where these teams need to be able to find their picks. Ryx looking to capitalize here. They've managed to find the first kill. Can they continue to grow on that lead, or are they going to let it get to their heads and fall short again? Droning out, using all of the utility possible. They're really looking to get the job done here, and I respect that. All comes to a halt as the action is waiting for one man to have that individual factor. Nook granted quite easy access up these stairs. The Flores did all of that preliminary work, and as he continues to close down this distance, the shotgun's going to be lethal in the close range. Let's see if Harv is going to be mindful of his surroundings. Lands one bullet on the Lunar, but not enough to get the job done, and getting fragged out quite easily. Unser, you have joy if you use that C4 right there, and he'll detonate, but doesn't do it quite fast enough, as it's a narrowly avoided death here for the attackers. Shut out here by Hassan is now. It's refragged out, and MVG spring back into action, claiming the man advantage yet again. And somebody needs to get aggressive, and they know this. Breach barely being open, Hassan going down, looking to make matters worse for the other team here. The plant looks to go down. Malusi looks to get aggressive and piercing the target. Triple kill here for Mataraya. Can you manage to find your clip? What a couple of good shots here as he manages to completely dissect, deny the plant, and put his team up to bodies with 10 seconds left on the clock. It'll be Lunar to close out the round. And what a first round here. What a first impression, as it's Lunar alongside Mataraya to give themselves the first round LDL claim. Just a problem to deal with, especially when the plant is going down. You have to be mindful. He has a hollow at such a long range. 15 meters, you have an ACOG. You're zoomed into his eyebrows, and you still manage to fall short. Beautifully executed, leaving LDL with a very well-deserved round in their hands here. But as we've seen before, once you go to your opponent's map, anything can happen. Molotov won their first round on Nighthaven, but they fell short continuously. So we can't say anything too far in advance, as we just have to wait for this progress to build up. as Skopos is being brought. One of those beautiful operators to be bringing in terms of roaming. Can switch on over to wherever the hell you want. It's a big problem for any attacker that needs to roam clear all by themselves. You use a Deimos, she could just transfer to be able to evade it. It's a big problem, but let's see if this team is going to be well organized enough to be able to take Zachariah out. First blood takes care of Lunar. That's one roamer taken care of, and now two left, as it looks like there's only one man playing the site. And if the drones recognize this, it's not like they're playing heavy verticality here. If they recognize this and they capitalize, this is the easy access to site. First death mark gets used out here on Harv. It seems to not want to prioritize that Skopos, leaving Goyo and Harv together on the roam, and it's going to be a problem here. I'm still confused on how no attackers managed to recognize you're clearing 4 roamers at the same time. Look at the site. There's only one man, and it'll be unserved. Somehow, just will fall short. If there's roamers, expect the aggression here. Variax doubles down by finding another kill here as he continues to look to grow his reign of terror. Free Fire almost connects onto Madaraya, but to no avail. 3v3 as they have managed to reel it back in. Again, just bring it back. You realize there's nothing on site. Go! And a 1v3 as Madaraya and Unsert double up here to continue to make matters worse. MolotovGang leave it up to the Hard Breacher all by herself in Armory. One man above, one man below. They both have C4s and they are in no rush to kill you. But Harv is just gonna swing regardless. A game of cat and mouse here as he will commit, but you were completely unaware. If you didn't hear the mute's bullets upstairs, what did you expect? Waiting for that hatch drop, capitalizing. That's the second here for LDL, as it looks like MolotovGang is kind of just going with the flow and it's not working out. Potential rehost here on our hands as we wait for the man to reconnect. Round has been quite interesting to see. We've seen teamwork just not there. Executes just falling short. We're seeing attackers not being able to recognize you're dealing with a non-vertical site. I mean, you have no verticality established. It's a site you can set up verticality, but they didn't have an inch of vert seen on that map until that hatch was open. You need to recognize there's only one man in the site. I can just waltz on in, take the one body out, and funnel on in through missile or the filtration breach. A problem to deal with. And MolotovGang are going to have to be able to try and address this because they're going to fall short on their own map if they don't. They'll head on over to the notorious Bunks site. A lot of coordination is needed to be able to win this site, but I think from what we've seen so far from LDL, they are up to that task. No castle is seen, but they're setting up here on the verticality. They're getting the traps done. They've even brought the wall deny. Everything needed to have a successful defense is now here. They'll be fully committed to this verticality play. You cannot walk into sight. You shall not pass. This is what I mean. This is a verticality setup. They are anticipating to dissect from above. It is going to be a problem if Molotov cannot find it. They've been falling short for 2 rounds now. One with the plant, one with the gunfights, and hopefully they'll be able to not do that and reel it on in. Time is such an important factor in this game. Looks like Variax doesn't even want the smoke. Puts down a claymore, calls it a day, and rotates off. Looking for some silent, sneaky entry, but not being granted. This site is committed to all 5 members needing to stay alive here and not losing their ones. Individual factor is just too important. You'll have one man near the site, and maybe not running out is the best of ideas. Harv meeting his makers. He'll fall short to Harv, and now that'll be a problem as he's capitalized, and that is a frag for Varix. Somehow, they didn't reinforce the double wall that genuinely gives them access to everything. And the defense is going to have an interesting time holding that when that whole wall is completely soft. Ash is going to definitely make matters worse than just open it up. Jackal looking to funnel in from mezzanine, having to deal now with the bandit. Lunar looking to get on the board here, but gets shut out quickly. Quick shot here, gets the job done. Unsert taking damage as well. SN gets taken out finally. First blood for LDL in response to that frag. Little late, but we might see Zachariah be able to refrag here. A little bit of ring around the rosy, 3v3, and Unsert unintentionally is now by himself upstairs. Volcan canister will be able to deny, and he not managed to go down to the brunt force of the impact grenade, and that is now a 1v3. Again, it always looks so good for Molotov, and it just all falls apart, and that is going to be a problem. Just needs to either look for that res, as the Volcan canister is going to protect his teammate, or he's gonna have to be able to rely on the fact that his gun skill is enough to find 2 bodies in a matter of 20 seconds. As they anticipate the Batman factor, it's a double kill here for Just, managing to read the play perfectly, but popping the Volcan is enough to get the job done. Resing your teammate, the noble thing to do, but what are you gonna do with 7 seconds left? The kid is loose, so you just have to be able to run up the clock here, regardless if you run in through. And Ace will definitely die to that Volcan canister. What do you expect to happen here? You had to isolate it from the get-go, but a double kill via Volcan and MP5 will give the 3rd round in the favor of LDL as they're continuing to grow this lead. We talk about how we go onto their opponent's map, and yes, defense is going to be harder for them to deal with, even if on their own home turf, but it's still going to be a problem once the scoreline gets ridiculous to 4 or 5 or even 6 on the board against just 0. MolotovGang getting shut out every single round, but we've seen them be able to turn things around. Hopefully, these clutch factors are going to start to kick in, or we're going to see a very one-sided final. As they'll be allowed to hold upstairs again. The heroics from Zachariah managed to keep this breach in their favor. And now, as things stand, not a single negative man on the team of LDL as they're having a field day taking these rounds away. They need to continue to do so if they want that series point next up. First blood favor of Molotov, shutting out Lunar here. Now, quite aggressive, but we've seen what happens when they get aggressive. They reel it back in and take it even more passive. Quite an interesting play here. If my aggression doesn't work, I'm gonna meet it with passiveness. Huh, who would have thought? As Madaraya looks to get lucky here, finds a headshot. Inan not quick enough to react, not the quick refrag. That was aggression used perfectly, and now they're left up at level. Looking to find something as Buck continues to shoot the floor out from under these defenders. Really getting the damage done. Even managing to feel to give damage to Harv. But what happens when you get contested? They're waiting for something. They're looking to get aggressive here. And it's important you know that they're waiting for you. Almost managing to squeeze on and find the kill, but just not fast enough as Zachariah will take care of you. And that is the verticality established, taking care of Zachariah for 2. An absolute pivotal player in this team as he manages to continue and rain his terror all over the map. The kit goes loose. The two bodies go down. Make it a 1v4 as Zachariah finds his third. Can you find your fourth? Oh, so hungry, waiting to be able to capitalize. You're left in a 1v3 situation, looking to capitalize, but these defenders are circling like sharks. They're here, they're waiting, and you're gonna play right into their hands. Isan managing to clutch last game. Can you manage to do it this one? Looks like they're gonna take it more passively. C4s are in hand, and we're below that 1 minute mark. Granted access into the site, but now just taking his sweet old time. Keep a barrier is going to protect the face of Zachariah. Going to be a problem here, but again, you have the C4, you have the ability to just play your time. Second smoke grenade being used, the clock ticks down. It's oh so important. You're mindful of this time. Shotgun at long range. You expect it's gonna kill him from that distance, but as of now, Unser helps out his teammate, plays time here, plays the site. Shotgun is definitely going to be the ideal situation. You can't just be forcing this. And now, Ascend makes it a very realistic possibility to be able to lock it in. But just your luck, you have to go up against the man who's terrorized every other player on your team. And it'll be 4 kills for Zachariah to close out the round to make this lead now even worse for MolotovGang. Their deficit now grows to 4. They'll head on over to the basement for their second last site to be able to hold here. Now they've managed to capitalize. They've won every single site. They're going to continue to be able to do everything as they're having a blast at taking care. As we look to see how they'll push on over to the basement site. Big problems are going to emerge for MolotovGang if they're falling short on their own map. It's going to be a problem. And now, it just looks like LDL is on an unstoppable spree. Looking finally at some missile play. Looks like they'll be going for that external, and the droning is going to make it look like they're setting themselves up for a verticality and missile push. Isan looking to get lucky on the basement, but will rotate out from warehouse and help his teammates out on the verticality. Takes his sweet time. It's oh so important you're mindful of your surroundings, especially when there's a crazy Mozzie running around. Zachariah, to make things worse, takes care of Habana. That's no more hatches. You don't even have can openers to be able to have a contingency plan, and that will be a problem. He could transfer back to site and call it a day, but knowing him, he is going to do that or just continue to get more aggressive. Switching back as Mataraya makes matters worse. He baits him perfectly. Oh, you can't be doing that. Quick refrag, as that has to be the play of the game. Lunar makes it a 1v4. Aurora left all by herself here in Armory as she waits for these defenders to circle on in. Yet again, oh my god, what a play. Executed beautifully as MolotovGang find themselves most likely in a 5-1 deficit if Aurora gets shut out. Seems to hear exactly where he is. Mozzie is now waiting to capitalize. Goyo next up, though. Quick trade as Mataraya doesn't take matters easy, and he'll one-tap to close out the round. And let's just take a look at that bait again. That was beautiful. Oh, you just can't be falling for that. You can't. Oh, that's rough to be able to deal with, and that is the first, I think it's the first time I've ever seen that. Wow. 1 round away from match point, as LDL have managed to continuously grow their lead. And if they find this last round, they will have match point in their hands, and they can try to make this the fastest map I have ever watched in my life. Nighthaven took about 50 minutes, this one about 20, and they're having a great time doing it. As MolotovGang need to find just 1 round in response, need to have some sort of lifeline. They're struggling as they continuously get absolutely destroyed. Mid-floor, the problem again, this is the site that Molotov got the closest to being able to win here. They managed to take matters into their own hands. This almost managed, but no, was not enough to call matters there. C4 narrowly avoided here by Nikon, now allowing the easy advance towards the upstairs. Now, it's all about getting this dissected in a timely fashion. It's going to be a problem. Before, you had Hart sticking his face at a door and giving you first blood. Regardless, you still managed to take it out. As it looks, they finally reinforced this wall. This site looks, or this verticality for the site looks much more troubling to be able to dissect here. They look to walk in. Pre-fire. Zachariah finds one. Zachariah, can you find the second? Seems like he hears the music, looking to capitalize. Lunar getting taken care of to 1 HP. For Ice finding a refrag here as it all bursts into action, and it leaves us at a 4v4, damage dealt to almost every player on this floor. But now, leaving us at a stalemate where players are gonna have to reevaluate their ideas. Shotgun close, and a double kill is going to be imminent if you aren't mindful of your surroundings, and somehow that's not a down. Vryax looking to walk in, no avail, as again it's Lunar to continue and make this worse for the attackers. Oh, the timing's horrible. Gets up the second the player swings, and Harv now tasked with dealing with the R6 Hall and its pressure. Now, still 3v3 established. They're getting on to the board. They're finding their advantages. They're finally finding their bodies, and a little bit of a whiff here from Harv manages to screw him over, but enough to do the job. And a pre-fire gives them the double. And oh, Harv, can you find it? Can you find your third? Find your clip, buddy, as he is completely looking to make himself known. 2 kills, essential. He wasn't having the best of rounds, but now seems to have woken up. Going right back to site. The hatch open, but barely. 10 seconds. Volcan's getting popped out. Intel is on you, and you're going to have to be mindful considering they are just waiting. That's match point as we are on Molotov's home turf, and it is 6-0. We move on to match point. Seeming like this might be a big problem here, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to take a look at that again. These players are not scared to use their pre-firing abilities, and I'm loving it. I mean, the individual clutch factor, just insane. They're not scared. It's beautiful. And I feel like that is what makes a team oh so nice to watch. Wow, I'm actually at a loss of words. 6-0 was not on my scoreboard for today, but can we see a 6 sweep reverse? Layer cannot be that hard. to attack, and LDL is just gonna have to show us what they have in plan. All silent on the western front. This is so bad. I'm honestly speechless. I don't think in my time I've seen a 7-0, especially on their map. But Varix gets a C4 kill, almost meeting his maker. Luckily manages to pull back before it becomes a disaster. First blood finally in the favor of MolotovGang, and can they continue to grow this lead, or are they just gonna allow LDL to just walk all over them yet again? As they look to make matters worse, MolotovGang really taking their sweet old time, but now 2 players have been taken down to 1 HP, and that is going to be a problem to deal with. Lunar isn't happy with the fact that he's won, so he'll just take care of him and take care of his face. That'll be 4v4, looking to make it a 3v4. You're 1 HP. What do you think's gonna happen if you walk into the fully automatic AR? But again, questions to be asked, as that'll be another kill here, as LDL managed to reclaim the lead yet again. The clock ticks down. Molotov trails, and they're down a man. I was gonna say they're up a man, but no, it's quickly been changed out. The 2 operators that were 1 HP completely get taken care of. I mean, what do you expect to swing when you're on 1? Looking to make matters worse. Entry into R6 is imminent. They're looking, they're coming, knocking, and they are responding with a barrage of bullets as they look to walk in. Oh, how do you just lose that, Unser? You can't just do it. You're filthy with that. And that'll be 7-0 on map 2, sending us to the series point. And we move to Cafe Dostoevsky. Not what I had on my bingo card today, but that will send us to our next map, hopefully after a short break, because that was crazy. Lots of things to be spoken of on this halftime, but we will be back with our final thoughts post-break. after a quite interesting first and second map, we take Cafe Dostoevsky. This is LDL's pick. They'll be starting off on attack and showing us what they have in store for us today. But without further ado, without my yapping, let's take a look at the map that's ahead of us for the day. If they manage to make a comeback, I don't even know what I'll do. I'll donate $40 billion to whoever the hell wants it. But there's just no way. We move on to Cafe. It's their map pick, and they lead to series point. This could be the fastest grand final I have ever watched in my life. We're an hour and 30 minutes in, and we're on our third map already. Can LDL close it out? It's the first time I'm hearing they played Layer together, and that was the result. Imagine what they do when they play with the map they actually like. But taking a look here at the bans, Grim and Blackbeard being the first bans, not too much of a surprise, and they are looking to find an ideal attack. As MolotovGang, have so much to prove. They will head on to the opponent's turf and hopefully with their heads held up high, because I know mine would be up where the sun don't shine if I had just lost 7-0. New map, 0-0, new pastures, but can they change the narrative? As MolotovGang kind of throw a curveball here, they'll be going the middle floor. That makes sense. Fireplace and reading, but they have a Thorn. Now, I've never seen Thorn being used effectively, but hopefully they will enlighten me. Quite interesting to see, and this is going to raise some eyebrows. Now, as I look at my screen with a raised eyebrow, I hope LDL are going to continue to do what they do and MolotovGang let their foot on the gas, because it looks like they've just been allowing things to go too easy. Almost the first kill here. Nomad Harv almost manages to capitalize, but just not fast enough as it creeps on in. They need to find either the first pick or something here. I mean, mid-floor, you usually expect to see a ram or some verticality, but just not this time. Doesn't look like that will be the plan for them, and they will look to dissect via kills. First blood in the favor of MolotovGang, as Nikon just watches the hatch drop quite easily and capitalizes with little to no contest. Lunar being aware of his surroundings, trying to find joy. As of now, verticality still going to pose a massive problem if they cannot find it right now. There you go. That's Mataraya for first blood in the favor of LDL, evening it out here at 4v4. And as things spring into action, it looks like the rapid pace is starting to pick up. Verticality established, but are they aware of Brown Stairs? They need to be able to find this. And as Unsert will be the man on the front lines, he'll be assisted by absolutely nobody so far, and he's going to have a horrible time trying to push this. Thorn doing a little bit of ring around the rosy here, catching Ace off guard. Be mindful of your surroundings. Nikon makes best of what he has, and Mataraya gets the quick refrag to be able to make matters worse for MolotovGang. All evened out here. And looks like he'll just be waltzing on in towards the site. The kit is now in hand. Verticality, not established, but you have the white stairs hold. Lunar now falls to his hand, playing the double rotate. He is here to play. He's not going home early, and he'll fall short. RSX capitalizing again, and this is a rejuvenated MolotovGang as they're finding their picks. They're playing this game textbook, and they're taking their time. Mata getting droned out. Oh, the irony, as he needs to look for the picks to be able to even out this scoreboard. The kit loose upstairs, and 30 seconds left on the clock. Not much to do, but isolate your gunfights in hopes to God you can find them. A verticality shreds your HP, and it'll be SN to be able to close out the round. As they head on over to kitchen, it was a quick decision. They wanted to go originally upstairs, but they'll go down as they're continuing to throw curveballs here. And that's honestly what they have to continue to do. You have LDL starting on attack. Sometimes it is attacker sided if you can play it perfectly together. But if you can continuously throw curveballs, it is going to be beautiful. Trying to get a feel here for what we're watching, but as it stands, 1-0. It'll be MolotovGang claiming. Question is, are they going to continue to be able to reign their terror? Because we've seen their ability to win rounds, but we haven't seen them be able to maintain a lead without falling. Looks like they are not letting up the gas. LDL, one bad round doesn't differentiate them between a victory. Looks like the very extensive hold will extend out all the way into the freezer. Where are they going to be going first? Finally bringing some of that soft reaching. They brought the verticality, and now the next chopping block would be finding the players that are holding the site, such as the players that are sitting in VIP. The soft roamers are the biggest problems here, considering they just have so many areas to hide out in and so many angles to make you doubt. SN being the first man on the death mark, and as it stands, every single person here is on the first floor. Could change. The stairs are just steps away from every single defender here, but we wait for one of them on the base of the stairs. It'll be SN to just sit down, wait, and try to get lucky. Hard breaches continue to further the access via verticality, and Deimos will open up the hatch. Now, leaving them at still a 5v5, a minute 30 burnt off, and all they are doing is just making sure they have all the materials needed to be able to advance towards the site. They're looking on a threat to pull, and if they can find it, that's a gap they can capitalize upon. Waiting for somebody to seek refuge in the site, and you need to push the man that is camping out Whiskey, as it's an easy kill, and it looks like that comm is actually going to go out here, as Deimos will be the one to watch the cross. Drones rain in. Everything needed is happening. Shield will fall down. So does the barbed wire. 44 seconds left. And they are still just setting up here. If your target man dies, and that he will, it'll be a problem. They need to rush over to be able to reset. And they know this, as Harv has now met his maker. One less person to play verticality. And Small Bakery definitely going to be a problem here. Just need to be able to find a frag. Mataraya looking to capitalize to no avail. 20 seconds left. You're going to have to be able to eat it, as people have to go for the gunfights here. There's a time and a place where you take your time to be able to execute, and that was not it. Took too much time. You've set yourself up for a perfect razor push, but for some reason, you've completely lit up the gas. Mataraya capitalizing, executing, but still left in a 1v4 here, narrowly avoiding the flawless, and it looks like MolotovGang finally waking up here, coming to their senses, and finding themselves with a 2-round advantage. I mean, what do you expect with that? I don't know. You played it until the last 30 seconds and you decided to go in the most crowded area, which you had almost no control over. A little difficult to deal with, but hopefully they'll be able to reel it back on in. It's only 2 rounds, a dangerous lead, and also an achievable comeback. They finally have decided to go on the 2nd floor. Now, with Noah Zombie in hand, she is going to be banned. They're going to just take matters into their own hands, lock in here, and call it what they need it to be, which is just going to be aggression here. No Mira, Noah Zombie makes the Gar a little bit more difficult to hold, but they'll have the shield facing into Freezer to try to temporarily disrupt that. It's still going to be a rapid problem. As they look to make matters worse, MolotovGang have 2 rounds. Finding the 3rd, it starts to get that foot in the door to be able to maybe try and make a comeback. You've fallen short 2 maps. One wasn't yours and one was. Gonna have to be able to try to have some sort of response here. They were given a 5-minute break on this game. They weren't the game before that, so maybe that's a deciding factor here on how they're playing. As we have Just here camping out Bakery, might be able to find Joy here as we wait for the run out to come through. And while we do that, this is going to be a stalemate. While they drone out, they get the things done. And the line continues to terrorize off the grand piano. And the call has to go out soon enough. Nikon losing almost all of his HP, now falling. No res is going to be imminent unless you can have somebody drop and find you. And Wamai looking to find it, but a little too late. You would have found it a couple of seconds ago. Nikon actually getting finished off. Just went for a double run out, getting double fragged. And now it's a 3v5 as the Frenchies team up to find 2 kills to put them 2 bodies up ahead. Again, somebody needs to find those 2 Vulcans. Flores has still not been able to find it. No drones have managed to be able to obtain that denial. Now send it towards them as they'll both be popped out here. And finally, they have some access. They have some time here, but they'll still get slumped out on a refrag, giving them a 3v4 situation. Stan knows aggression is key, and he'll get it here as he denies Cigar control and puts them back up at level 3v3. Could have waited for somebody to hop back into Grand, but now a problem as everybody has now been pushed outside of the key areas to be able to capitalize. Now, they find themselves in a 3v3 situation. Frostmat narrowly avoided finding a kill to manage to continue and grow this difference. And now it is absolute Molotov haven as they manage to find their 3rd in a row. This is the team you expect to take care of. And you can't allow them to continue to run over you like that. You're on the series point, they're not. And you're falling short 3 rounds now. It makes you really wonder what is an obtainable comeback. They'll be going that mid-floor again. We saw how well they held it the first time. So susceptible to taking care of anybody that touched them. But they have to be able to recognize how the other team plays. That's exactly what they're doing. LDL, though, not having the best of times, not bringing the verticality when needed, not playing as a team, and they are taking their individual factors too far as they are getting picked off one by one. As I look to not go to the conclusions yet, because we've seen what happens. We said MolotovGang was absolutely beautiful on Night Haven in the first quarter of the match, and then they lost 3-7. So, timeouts are able to be used for either team. 60 seconds for either team. Now, when you want to use it is up to you. You have one every single map, and we've yet to see either team use it. Surprisingly, I think MolotovGang 7-0 would have warranted one, but I guess not. They will have two soft breachers, one now to open up the hatches and the next to be playing this verticality. You'll be having Lunar and Zach team up here, boots on the ground. Mataraya looking to capitalize here. Legion giving away his position, but eventually dropping out to avoid a very costly mistake. Next man to deal with is going to be Ina, who's now gone, actually. Like verticality is completely given. At second pick here as Nikon continues to grow. I don't even know where Madurai got taken care of. Close my eyes for 1 second and damn, it's a 3v5. Approach the halfway mark of this round and 3 defenders are clustered here to keep this denial. Nobody's managed to run into the F-Knots yet, but it'll prove to be something annoying to deal with. Ace looking to capitalize, will find a response, but still one more body to find. F-Not starting to finally connect, but a little too late as verticality being fully established in the comfort of his own home, able to shoot it out, taking his sweet time. And now, so many players in and around the site, making this oh so hard to be able to deal with. A wallbang could find a body here, but they need to be able to do it in a timely fashion. We've seen LDL fall short every single time, and now they're continuing to not be mindful of their time. As they continue to lose the gunfights, they lose the cohesiveness we've seen on layer. They'll probably be approaching now a situation where they go on to be in the deficit of 4 rounds. But Nikon definitely makes it a possibility as he now puts it to a 1v4 situation. LDL starting to fall short here on their own map, not having the best of times, maybe just because they're on attack, but 4 rounds, you need to have a response, or are we going to see 2 7-0s back to back? As I'm pretty sure I just headbutted my monitor, we head on over to the second last round for this player. Now, this player I'm referring to, can you tell what I'm talking about? SN, the man himself, 8-0 is next to his name. He is basically a one-man army, capitalizes, kills everybody that walks into his path, and it is working out perfectly. Kitchen will be their next point. I think this was the best site I've seen held by them. They completely wasted the time. Even though LDL was setting up verticality, they got the hatches open. They were even watching the verticality. It was a problem for them to get taken off. They were basically like a Sharpie, just permanent marker all over this site. They sat, they waited, they capitalized, and that's exactly why they're up 4-0. As this is a completely different scoreline that I did not imagine. We have Molotov up 4 rounds. Can they find 3 more to be able to turn the table? Give us that 7-0 yet again. Look like a top down is what's in the hand here of LDL as they look to try and find things. But again, 40 seconds in, they're completely unwavered by their time. First call goes out, but as we've seen before, they're all bunkered downstairs. The closest you'll see to aggression is the man playing Freezer and the man playing on the Whiskey Stairs. As Unsert gets his boots on the ground, he edges closer and closer towards the site. No flank watch being brought here. Susceptible to any form of flank, but they need to find a response regardless of flank. The clock is ticking. LDL, no response so far. Bodies all up 10 as we approach the 1 minute marker. Is going to be hell. First gas canister will be prioritized. Mataraya is actually going to eat it, tries to capitalize, but shut out quickly as Mataraya lands a quick headshot to be able to do the job. Gonna be a problem here as Doc looks to put that deficit even worse for LDL, but Lunar manages to walk out of that unscathed. I mean, scathed a bit as he walks out with a couple of scratches, but enough. He's managed to get the body. In 35 seconds means something's gonna happen here. Something's gotta give, and it looks like a drop into Freezer is what is going to get. Seeing Frost on the board, lethal. Smoke doesn't hear it somehow and manages to stay completely unaware. Harp shutting him out. Lunar getting up and capitalizing. That's a problem. Teamwork. Oh, teamwork. Where did it go? The Frost mat keeps Nikon absolute legend when it comes to placing them. A second one as he manages to claim the lives of every single mat. And now they just need to stick the plant here. But the question is, can they do it in a timely fashion? The Echo Drone comes knocking and he'll manage to stick it. And now we're left in a 1v3 situation where Frost looks to have some answers in Bakery. Lunar will be immobilized until the halfway point of this diffuser. And now they are just forced to reset and call it a day because they've done all of the hard work needed. Now they just got to waste the clock, run out the time, and that's all that matters as Lunar finds two. If he had just been finished off of that window, we would have seen a completely different narrative. As now, we see a response on the final or second last round here from MolotovGang's defense reign. 4-1 is the scoreline, and the best possibility for LDL here is walking out with 2 in hand. It just gets more and more interesting. It's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. As now it'll be 4-1 on the scoreline. And quite interesting to see who finds this next round. Teamwork just decided to dissipate here for MolotovGang. Not a single inch of it was seen within a 30-mile radius, and that is going to be a problem. We'll head on over, ladies and gentlemen, in the opportunity to find first blood. As nobody spawns in that area, he is going to be looking at absolutely nothing. This was probably the only side I would say that LDL should have won, but they lost cigar control too early and they allowed themselves to get wide swing, and that just proves to be a fatality and a problem. The clock slowly ticks down. We are approaching the mark where MolotovGang need to find a kill or a response, but as of now, Harv slaps open a castle barricade, gets the first kill quite easily, and now gets the reset. Take your sweet time to drone out, as nobody looks to be running out anytime soon. Nikon roaming again. That has been the second time that's happened this game to Unser. You know he's gonna wrap around. Why continue to do the same thing? Again, that'll be first blood taking care of the Heart Breacher here, and Ticket is going to be a problem. Shotgun, not enough to do the job here, as Mataraya will walk out. Damage done, but has that case at an obtainable distance and needs to get to moving. Corner of Cigar seems to be a problem here. Mataraya almost falling to the Volcan canister as that first air jab will be detonated, and he looks to advance towards Cigar. That'll be Issan to find a frag onto Lunar, taking care of the pressure off one of the windows. Now a minute left on the clock, and yet again, he is going to be the main pivotal factor, taking his sweet time to play on the windows. If there's feed holes there, what do you expect? Now the map control, the site control by LDL is just not there, and MolotovGang prioritizes that and takes it, uses it to their advantage to continue to just terrorize the hold. Mataraya and Zachariah, twins I like to call them, look to creep on into the site, but now finding no connections, finding absolutely nothing as they're forced into gunfights they cannot take. The teamwork just crazy here. Can they find it? Free Fire almost connecting with the head of the castle, and now they're forced and confined into the space of Freezer. Mataraya looking to get lucky here, dealing the damage needed. The pre-fire just deals them and gets them weaker and weaker, but it will be a 2v1. Eventually, you're gonna have to deal with the pinch, and a 5-1 is the scoreline. Can we finally see MolotovGang and their response? Crucial here for MolotovGang as they might be finding the turning point, but it's going to be a problem if they cannot hold this on as they move on to attack. Maybe the defenses for LDL look way more better. They look way better and way more cohesive as it switches. But as of now, the most important thing is to be able to play as a team and run down the clock. Will take us to kitchen yet again, and it needs to be oh so perfect as you have 4 rounds to close out. Going to be a problem if you cannot find it, but as of now, you found 1 round in a response opposed to the absolute battering ram that MolotovGang has had from you, and maybe just from a lack of words is just no teamwork, but again, all about what they can bring to us. Right now, looks like Freezer's the main point of attack here. You see how different it looks. They'll get the breach open, then go for verticality. But crossing one thing off their list as they now advance all up towards the 2nd and 3rd floor. Looking to get lucky here. Somebody trying to find first blood as Lunar might be the man to be able to claim that title either against or for. As the attackers are circling, some above, some close, and the others waiting to punish him. As Ihsan will be the boots on the ground to be able to try and capitalize. He gets closer and closer towards finding a pick here. Vigil managing to go full circle, walking up white stairs here, making himself a absolute demon to have to deal with later on in the round. His whereabouts completely unknown to every single one of these attackers, and that is going to pose a problem when this verticality starts to get established. First Doxton being used out to reset, and that's every single defender right back up at 100 HP. Time slowly just disappears. Cafe defense just seems to be every player's dream, as these attackers just cannot find any sort of response for the aggression met. Just losing almost all of his health here at verticality. It just seemed like Vert was not the most, it just wasn't the most ideal situation here, as we've seen verticality be a problem for every single team so far. Mataraya losing most of his health, but Lunar will find a pick as well, taking care of Justin. That's one soft breacher taken care of. Can you find the next? But Ihsan's in sight. completely unscathed. How has nobody heard him? Completely drop the hatch, and there's no utility to be able to do that. He finds himself in sight, and somebody has to be able to jump, find that refrag, as this is going to be a problem if you cannot find it. Mataraya knows he needs to rid of the pressure on red stairs. SN continues to rain his terror, but a refrag from Mataraya will even it out, and it looks like Freezer's been completely given. This flank, possible. Harv shutting out any possibility, and the two players will be in sight trying to plant the bomb, but Mataraya here to prance on it. Goyo, Vulcan playing pop, but not in a timely fashion, and focus on the man playing upstairs, but you're not focused on the guy who's just dropped the Freezer. Low on HP, and a triple kill from Mataraya is enough to get the job done, and a response from LDL closes out the deficit to just 3. Well played here. They know what they want to do, how they want to do it. They're taking their sweet old time, and it's working in their favor every single time. You had the heroic factor. You have one man entry fragging into the Freezer, but what are you going to do from there? You have to be mindful. One of you just died to a roamer. What are you going to do to be able to counter him now? Fireplace and reading, the next on the chopping block, and hopefully that chopping block looks a little bit better than whatever the hell we see right now. 5-2 is the name of the game, and the mid-floor will be the hold here for LDL. We've seen some interesting holds from both teams, but this one's going to be the most interesting, as we are not going to see a castle. Window's going to be open. External play definitely going to be a possibility, and this just might be a problem. Quite an interesting scoreline we are seeing here, ladies and gentlemen, as we approach the 8th round. The absolute most we go to is 15, and we haven't even gotten close to overtime. The closest thing that's been overtime was the first map. But if we do manage to go there, it is infinite OT, which makes this a little bit more exciting. As of now, LDL is most likely going to have to aim for overtime as their objective, as winning 4 rounds in a row is going to be quite hard to do. First blood in the favor of Molotov, as they'll take care of Lunar, and this is definitely looking like a team we've seen before. They know what they want to do, how they want to do it, and it's working out in their favor here. C4 almost claiming life B, now somehow managing to keep him alive, but Mataraya finds another kill, almost finding 2 with that C4, but Fan manages to just settle here by finding a refrag, taking care of the striker. The utilities taking care of alongside with the EMPs and the hard breaches, meaning they're going to have to be able to adapt here. Boots on the ground first will be Nikon as he looks to advance towards the verticality area. As of now, though, they're completely unaware that there is a man playing below on Pulse. Valkyrie is also on the board. This is going to be the floor is lava, and you better hope to God you get lucky. Mataraya now playing below, giving away his location. He knows where he is. Just can't capitalize it as he's left at 30 HP by himself. Nikon taking some damage. And as of now, all going to come to a halt while they look to find either their verticality or the kill. And that'll be Mataraya to capitalize. C4 seems to be imminent as Harv continues to give away the location. IQ not using her scanner is going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. Be mindful of where you're going. Have that pre-place fixed somewhere to be able to have that. And now, Nikon continues to have a hard time trying to clear the F-Naught on White. And this is still going to be a problem. C4 is getting tossed out, only doing more damage to Enoch, but not enough to confirm him as dead. It's going to be a triple kill out to Mataraya as the other team continues to lose verticality, continue to lose everything in their hands. Nothing goes in their favor as he continues his terror reign. It's just Mataraya. 3 this round, 3 the last round. He managed to find everything he needs to. Almost finds another kill onto the ace, but leaves it at a 2v4 here with 30 seconds left. His team must be able to capitalize even without him. Looks like the name of the game is walking into sight. The F-Naught to do their job. The shotgun is enough to drop the case, make it loose, leaving Nikon in an unwinnable situation. Vulcans tagged him, bullets flying at his face, and just to top it all off, 12 gauge buckshot to your head makes it even worse as they proceed to close this deficit down and make it the 5-3. Fireplace and mining as Maestro is going to be brought for the first time this series. A little bit of an exciting round as, again, responses from LDL are now being met. They defend 10 times better than they attack because they're having a blast on it so far. MolotovGang, you just need to win 2 to be able to shut it out and go on to the next map. LDL have a little bit more as they need to win 3 rounds in a row to get on the match point and just confirm that last one to be able to win the series. But as of now, that's all talking in the future, and we need to focus on how they'll be able to play right now. They'll head on over to the second floor. Played it decent the first time as they managed to find the round, but they just need to continue to duplicate exactly what they did last time to be able to do it this time. And hopefully, man, just hopefully they'll be able to do so. It becomes a problem when you cannot have a response for the team that comes rapidly knocking on your door. RSX looking for joy. They all circle like sharks on these hatches, trying to find first blood here. But having mining as a site is an absolute disaster here. Very heavy to hold, but Maestro, the Malusis make it oh so easy. You just need to be able to run this clock out. Breach is getting opened here. Everything's getting set up to be able to have a successful attack, but as of now, it's all about the clock being ran out. I don't think Zachariah is aware that Maestro's in the favor of MolotovGang. Brava's hacked it. Lucy looking to run out, but in the meantime, gets hit by the Vulcan canisters, losing a good amount of her HP. Needs to lock in. First blood, enough, finds Unser, and it's now going to become a problem. The fact that you're losing bodies oh so easily. Which really just trying to bait out the Maestro into her crosshairs, but just won't fall for it. She is just going to say, fine, I'll come to you myself. Lunar seems to be aware of this and has the 80 bullets to be able to do the job. Mataraya fighting till the death and going down with a pick in his hand. As they just need one more kill to be able to solidify. Maestro, you can pre-fire almost every single bullet left in this pocket, but he will leave it in the pocket for now. Harv playing off sight, no C4 in his hand. And as the pressure continues to build up, the kid is loose. The teamwork, as of now, just not there. Maestro, though, looking to circle, waiting. Lunar here to get aggressive, but Hassan is here before disaster can strike. Harv finding a refrag, but getting quickly refragged right after. And it looks like we're going to match point, ladies and gentlemen, and maybe the next map. Unless Zachariah's clutch factor is oh so good that he'll manage to find this. A quick back and forth exchange just keeps him sat, but wow, the flank will come in here to allow the round to go to match point as we approach the 3-6 score line. And finally, it feels great to be able to say it, MolotovGang, match point. They're on 6, LDL's on 3. That's why you don't go mining. It's a disaster of a site. There's no structure to it unless you can play very aggressive upstairs, but knowing how MolotovGang plays, they brought the Brava, they brought the Twitch, and before they even got into the building, they took care of the Maestros, they took care of the Goyos, and that is a reason that we're watching some dominance here for one team. As you played this beautifully the last time around, do you have it in you to be able to deny it this time? LDL still on serious point regardless of what happens this map, as we will head on over to the pick of MolotovGang, which is Skyscraper, where anything can really happen. Is going to be quite interesting to see. Taking down. All about taking your sweet of time, as the MolotovGang is now in possession of the lead. Haven't been able to say that for 2 maps now, and now it's all about if they have it in them to be able to prolong the ending of the series. Rise looking to get lucky here. Nobody on the roam, as they will also be going for a 5-man sit down and bunker into the site. No castle being brought as they look for the extensive hold all the way into the freezer. First blood, SN executes Mataraya in a timely fashion. Drone phase, not phone phase for a reason. That's exactly why we've seen that kill. Quite easy, as now you'll find LDL down a man yet again and putting themselves in a quite tricky situation where they're going to have to rely on 4 people to be able to get the job done. No timeouts being called, surprisingly, and that's also going to be a problem in itself. Second pick, just to make matters worse, goes in the favor of Justice. He'll find Unser. 5v3, the clock still ticking down. It's still not going to go in your favor, as you need to get your priorities straight. Verticality being established. The flank is now going to be completely dissected as Buck is there and ready to hop onto it. Now, it all is starting to crumble here for LDL. They're losing their utilities. They're losing their grasp, as they are continuously just getting absolutely dissected. And looking to add the pressure in for the small big window. Got a kill there earlier in the round. Looking to make that 2. Starting out seemingly knowing there's somebody in the general area, but not knowing there's a doc just waiting to take care of you. It'll be shot to the back to finally get your team on the board. It'll be LDL, the first pick for themselves, taking care of Hassan. Freezer drop now imminent, and where is hard for this response. Need to be mindful of your surroundings. Lunar finding 1. It'll be hard to find the next as he's reeled it back in, and you can just take your time now. Ace downing the freezer pressure. Brike's watching it, but again, an easy kill. Be mindful of your surroundings as you're forced off, and the verticality is now given to you, but you've somehow managed to lose it. That's the second time this series we've seen Valor gifted verticality and just choking it. You're gifted oh so much, but why just let it go? Varix reeling it in, map done, and we go on to the next, with Molotov finally having a response, sending us the Skyscraper on their home turf. Makes you wonder why you swing verticality. Just wait for the plant to go down, then swing. The surprising factor is just there, but there was no trigger discipline, and that is a deciding factor. But regardless of the app, we'll be back from this break after you guys do a jumping jack, grab some food and a snack, and we will be ready for you soon. We bring to you back from the break. Skyscraper is the next on the chopping block, ladies and gentlemen. MolotovGang proved themselves, finally getting themselves on the board. Now, if they can continue to do this, we will be going to map 5. If not, it'll be shut out in this next map. But currently, they have managed to defeat the shortest cast of all time, or we would have been seeing an hour-and-a-half best of 5 series, just going to only 3 maps. But as of now, I'll stop yapping and let's take a look at the map that's ahead of us for the day. As we get brought in to the current events of today, ladies and gentlemen, we go Skyscraper. Grim seeming to be a very, very essential ban here. He has been seen taking care of almost every single game. He's essential. On the first map, we saw how he was utilized. He was an absolute deal breaker. The live pings raining on in, and that was exactly why he's probably banned right now. A problem to deal with, but they were anticipating. Zombies soon to be taken out after, and that is the essential attackers and defenders that they've taken care of. The ones that are the meta and the ones that are broken. Trying to hydrate here, as I am definitely going to lose my voice by the end of this, but we approach half of the series. 4 maps in 1 potential left. This is the make or break here for MolotovGang, and they need to be mindful of this. They're on the match point, and they will be attacking first. Not the best of duos, but the combination is just going to have to make do. They'll take us on over upstairs, the main name of the game. It's all about the first round impressions. Looks like House is going to be the main idea, as they will be going with their drones over to that area of the map to be able to dissect, drone, and call theirs. Excuse me, guys, while I plug in another headset because this one sucks ass. But as of now, we have the Melusa. We have all the operators needed to be able to deny. And as we've talked about before, Skyscraper is such a condensed map. So little space on the upstairs site. You just need to be able to play together quite well for it to be able to lock in and be able to have it played out quite well. But again, it's all about what you are able to do as a team. And currently, we know LDL and MolotovGang are both very capable teams of what they can do. Now, managing to try and take care of business, they all will be sat at 5v5, while Exhibition is the next on the chopping block, and A will look to capitalize. Risky goo mine there by Lunar almost has him meet God, but to no avail, as they will be alive to call it that. As the goo mines do enter in, Mute, you have to know exactly where the gridlock is. Mr. Maker can't be standing up in front of the breach. Mataraya capitalizes, gets a kill on the man sitting outside, but not the man who's genuinely just sitting inside of offices. But that'll be the next stand. That'll be MolotovGang to walk out of the exchange in a deficit of 1 body. As they look to find something, they look to find a body. It's all about doing it in a timely fashion, and we know both teams have the ability to be able to do that. Clock slowly ticks down and down as they are left in a 3v4 situation as we approach the below 1 minute mark. Breaches haven't been open. The attackers haven't even advanced up to the dragon yet. It's going to be a problem to deal with, and they're going to have to be able to address that quite soon. As they look to grow, it becomes much more it becomes much more realistic to be able to make a comeback. Here's Reich finds the kill off of the house. That's a problem. You're sitting in the middle of the staircase. What do you expect? You're not even aimed in yet. And Geisha now to be opened up soon after. 30 seconds left on the clock, and it looks like time is oh so important currently. Just eating a Gumai while Madaraya executes his teammate, leaving us in a 2v3 situation, a standalone between Geisha, Drums, and the pressure raining on in by these two attackers. Maverick looking to find joy off of this hallway, but to no avail as he just gets shredded down. One man on the flank, and he knows this Vulcan's everywhere to be able to deny him as well, and you're just going to have to be able to eat them. Enoch getting shut out here by Harv. Harv finding the finish, and now first round goes in the favor of LDL as they completely terrorize Molotov as they try to attack. And if they can continue to do this, especially on a defensor-sided map, they will have a blast on this series point. They will send us next up to the exhibition office, the second best site on this map. Not having a zombie in hand, so it's going to be a little interesting here, but they need to be able to lock in. All about how you approach the game, all about how you coordinate. But as of now, you need to just be able to coordinate, be able to lock in, find the rounds, find the advantages, and cap. As we approach the upstairs site offices, an easy site to hold if you know how to coordinate correctly. You usually see a castle, but now having the mirror and the Wamai allows a little bit of flex and leniency because sometimes you have the mirror facing outside and that makes it harder for the attackers to advance. Now, using these problems in your favor is going to be the way to win a round, in my opinion. Two mirrors and they both face Drums, Dragon, and Shrine. A little confusing here, never seen this double one before, but it'll be quite interesting to see how they will execute upon it. The drones rain on in. Wamai will be the point man to be able to deny, but now as we see somebody getting very aggressive here, you'll have Harv as well teaming up. They want to keep T-Room denied. Nikon taking some damage off the Vulcan, slapped onto the black stairs, and still lots to be done here. Drones raining in, looking for the Vulcan canister, looking for Joy. C4 ripped. Valkyro ready to rip as now we are still looking at a 5v5 scenario. I mean, I have to give it to both teams. They know how to play their time. They know how to be able to take it slow, be able to evaluate how they want to play, and execute it in a timely fashion. Sometimes they take too long, but again, they really get their foundations checked off before it becomes a problem. Now, facing a Twitch drone doesn't seem to be the best of ideas, as a head hole will claim the life of Unser, and a refrag will give Harv up, downed, and look to the left of that door. You'll find Hassan, but you'll also get downed as well. Good Luck looks to advance, trying to capitalize here, but they just need to get themselves out of a tricky situation, as it would have been looking completely different if you didn't have that man playing verticality here. Madaraya finds one, but a TK will make it two bodies, as it is now a 2v4. Not the best of situations to be on, especially when you're down a map. Madaraya shutting down whoever walks into his path. The guy just can't be stopped. The kid is loose now in his hands as he continues to reap what he sows. As he continues to terrorize the other team, regardless of what they do. Fully automatic pistol, it doesn't even matter at this point. He will just shut you out. And now, 37 seconds, 1v3, and the kit isn't in your hands. And who else but Madaraya for a triple kill to give you the 2-0 advantage as they'll be heading on over to Barbecue. Quite interesting indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Both teams have something to prove here, but it just looks like LDL want to get this over with. It's a Sunday morning for me, afternoon for them. They just want to get it over with, and it looks like they're doing it in a timely fashion. They're looking at a 3-1 win if they can take it right here, right now, as they continue to grow their lead. 2 rounds, dangerous to be up. You need to continue to grow, because once we get past, again, that 3, 4, 5 marker, that is a comfortable lead. And once they can do that, once they continue to shut out MolotovGang, we'll be seeing some advancements. But as of now, we are seeing luck go in their favor. A TK for MolotovGang takes out their point man looking for the finish. In the first round, the Volcans get popped into later in the round, deciding where they need to funnel in from. So 2 rounds that are insanely in their favor. But again, all that matters is LDL takes the round home and they're using their utility correctly. If we can see a complete shutout now, utilizing Volcans winning ones and completely shutting them out like we did on Layer, then maybe we'll be seeing a different narrative and a completely different scoreline at the end of this map. As first blood goes in the favor of LDL. What's new, Scooby-Doo, as Zachariah takes the face off of Ariax. Utility lost yet again. And now they're forced to go upstairs all by themselves, down a body. No soft reacher, no ram, no buck. Why? There's so much verticality on this lane. It just seems like they don't care. Looks like Blitz is going to be a deciding factor of this round. Might be able to find an easy kill here, dealing the damage, but doesn't shut it out. Clock, the precious seconds on said clock is just ticking down, and Blitz is the point man so far to deny. Fat finger on a drone, almost managing to bait somebody actually, as Goya was considering running at him. Now looks to use impacts. One goes wide, and taking a look at the other attackers, they look to advance via Black Side. C4 deals a good amount of damage here to Ihsan, but in the meantime, Har will find a headshot, but quickly gets refragged after, now leaving the attackers in a one-man deficit yet again. 3v4, the clock is ticking, and they have so much to do. The tide's shifting in the favor now of Molotov as they're dealing the damage, but Lunar has something to say about that as he makes it a 2v4. Black now being made an absolute free-for-all, as Lunar might have a kill on his hands here if he can hear the man advancing in the meantime. As he does, he'll be going for the swing. He's sitting crouch, and you'll be able to manage and capitalize as Lunar shuts out the round, Unser onto the Blitz, and now that is round for LDL, and now they claim a 3-round advantage. Yet again, we're just not seeing the timeouts being prioritized for some reason, and that's just going to eventually be a problem, especially when you're on match point of a grand finals. And there you go. It's almost like I anticipated it, and that'll send us to a timeout that is so needed. Both teams playing well, but right now there's only one that has rounds on the board, and it's absolutely imperative you continue to do so. You need to be able to shut out the players. You need to be able to capitalize. You need to be able to find the bodies. But as we're seeing right now, they are just not up for that task. 30 seconds left on this timeout, as they are granted a minute here to talk about the things that are going right and wrong for each of their teams. It is going to be a problem, though, if they can't come to a general consensus on what is going wrong, due to the ability to continue and just falter time and time again. But as of now, what I'd like to say, they're not doing horrible, but they still have a lot to prove. I mean, taking a look here at the original rosters, we were supposed to see a much more uniform lineup. I mean, just being on the board. I thought he wasn't going to play, but somehow he does manage to do it, and we do see him today. I don't know how, I don't know why, but we have. I thought Just was going to get subbed out for Crow. I think that's how you pronounce it, but he is not here, and it'll be the man to take out the position. So the main 5 players for each team have now been brought. They all have the facilities, they all have the ability and the capability to be able to take this home. But as of now, we're only seeing it from one team. They lead currently in maps, they lead this current game, and they look to be your top runners to be able to close out the RSX Grand Finals. they look to find something. It always looks like LDL in defense always just resonate. They always have a blast on them, and that can go for the defensive meta. But there are some maps that are attacker side, and LDL just really capitalize on the ones that aren't. Currently, though, having a blast on this current map and trying to find even more rounds to be able to continue and grow their difference. But as of now, it'll remain a 5v5. They're looking for the utility. They're getting the drones in as we wait for the bodies in the first boot to hit the ground, and it'll be Buck to enter through bed. Verticality being established here. The site is all the way over in the tea room, and you need to dissect exhibition offices before you can even think about advancing. Breach is getting opened up quite fast, and Buck is just waiting. Quick common teamwork will be able to save the life of Bandit. Madaraya, here's the prone. Oh, Gridlock, you can't expect something to not go wrong in your favor as you go down, and that'll be a 4v4. They continue to terrorize in and out of these games, as it is now looking at a 4v4 situation where you've lost your flank watch. Makes it essential for anybody flanking. Thank God, though, we haven't seen that aggression met by LDL. They'll bunker down in sight and wait until this clock runs out. Defender's waiting, and as I say that, Uncertain makes me eat my words and goes for a full flank here. Might be able to just go for a C4 or wait on the overhang, but he is just waiting to find a sort of connection. That FNAC goes off. That's an easy marker that the plant is there and their feet are planted, and that's an easy C4. He will wait below the bar. Waiting to hear this C4, waiting for it to get detonated. You have Unsert waiting below. Passionate with the F-Not helping him out here. And Ihsan to win his gunfight in a quick refrag to be able to find if it gets detonated. And he'll wait a little too long. F-Not getting taken care of. Should have just detonated when you heard it the first time. Ihsan just moving through here. Zachariah losing half of his health to the Vulcan canister. And this is starting to become a problem for LDL as they're starting to lose their overall cohesiveness of a push, as the wall bang through two walls allows the easy play here. Harv managing to capitalize, but now not popping the Vulcan in time, allowing access to site to be gained quite easily. The Vulcan in the middle of the room, and then managing to deny yet again. Looks like Molotov want to get themselves back on the board. A 1v3 where you have to imagine to deny, use the Vulcans to your advantage, but not a single thing went right for LDL after that 3v3 marker, and they will continue on as they have 2 more rounds left to get it right. Exhibition office next on the chopping block. You saw how they played it out the previous time. Yes, there was some luck granted with the players TKing each other, but still, it's still absolutely imperative how they play with each other. They play as a team, they capitalize, and I think that's honestly all that matters, especially in a BO5. You need to have endurance as well, and currently LDL's the team for that task. They've currently fallen off since Slayer, but again, everybody would fall off, granted, winning a 7-0 in a map. So lots to be done here, and they have to be able to have it up with their heads held up high. But again, still lots to be done, lots to dissect. And now it'll look like MolotovGang is starting to learn the ways of LDL. Something I do like to talk about, though, look at the difference of setups. LDL, they reinforce off the drums, but they don't bring the double reinforcement into T. They also don't play the castle. They don't rely on the stability from the barricades, which is kind of surprising to me, but again, it's what happens, and to each their own. They continue to look to get aggressive. You've droned out the man waiting for you. There's 3 drones on him. How do you not see him? And that's your gridlock taken care of. Black, the next on the chopping block, is Madaraya 8-1 currently, having the blast. Only time he's died was when they've lost. Nikon not having the best of games. He's currently 0-5, and Ihsan here to punish, as you'll find, Zachariah. clock slowly ticking down as they are looking to find the gap, that thread to pull on to expose the site and what it contains. Obvious objective, capitalize and win a round, but that won't be happening unless you can find this next kill. Taking their sweet old time, running this clock down into the very end as they oh so desperately are trying to keep their seconds on the clock. And they're doing a good job. Their mirrors are intact. There's no ashes left, but you've also just lost the body. We've seen this happen again. Don't DK each other. An easy res. The mirror gets aggressive, making matters even worse. Aggression was not the answer to that. It was res your teammate while one watches, and that's just not the response or memo that you had Lunar finding. Mataraya now forced to take matters into his own hands, finding a kill because what's new? One man still down, granting access to house. They're managing to look for it. Now, you'll find yourself in a situation where Mataraya has to take matters into his own hands yet again. Unser holding terrorists, but your teammate's there. There's nothing to worry about. It's on. Finding a double kill, taking care of Harv. Unser finding a kill, but getting shot out here from the connector window. Splitting up the two attackers, you've managed to wedge in, allowing yourself to isolate two 1v1s. The drone looking for him oh so passionately. If Ace walks in here unaware of what's happening, this will be a problem. Maverick hops in the split, looks to capitalize, looks to drive a wedge in between Mataraya's crosshairs, but it's the man you would expect to win him. Just can't pull the trigger fast enough and just lines up the shot. Luckily, there were no bullets left in the gun here for Mataraya. Running out slowly will allow them to close the deficit down to just one round. And MolotovGang are getting closer and closer to tying it up on Skyscraper. If this switches, this will be a problem. Barbecue is going to be the next feeling that we'll be watching. They only have one more round to get it right. They can walk out of this either in a 3-3 or a 4-2, and it's honestly how they feel about themselves and how they feel about taking it. All about the personal initiative they can take, and currently we're just finding LDL falling short. They've lost the touch, they've lost the elite aggression that we've been seeing, and that is going to be a problem. Mira being placed on the split here. I usually see this wall get reinforced with head holes, but I never really see the Mira at the passionate one, and hopefully you'll be able to help them out. You rarely see a Mira on... Oh, wow, I'm mistaken. You rarely see a Mira played on the verticality, especially on that split. Maybe, yeah, there you go. Maybe on the staircase, but this is a little bit of an interesting one. Maverick looking to take care of this breach. Selma's making it quite easy to open it up, and everybody is stacked up in the same area as the boots on the ground. First will be Nikon, and he is not having the best of games. Just playing Gridlock, just getting things done for his team, but just not being able to win his own personal gunfight. Candela is getting used. Looks like they want to get in this site. The Blitz waiting to rush as well. Oh, you're going to be in a world of hurt in a second here. Uncertain if you can't manage to call your team back. C4 will keep that window closed out. Vulcan will manage to assist, but in the meantime, Mataraya finds a kill to take care of Ina. That's one more Candela taken care of. And now the Blitz advancing. Mataraya finds the man in the back somehow. To be giving a ring around the rose. That shotgun is powerful in the close range. And it's again just Mataraya. Triple kill because regardless of what happens, he's here to play the game. And they'll find themselves in a 1v5 situation with LDL looking for a flawless round. As they circle around, they look for the man who's just hopped in, making the audio all seen and all heard. allowed access into site, but is going to look for the verticality instead. RSX, case in hand, is going to have an absolute nightmare to try to look for. Continues to take damage from everybody circling. The damage is just going to be irreparable, as you'll find one body, can't find the next, and that'll be 4-2 on the split as LDL move on to attack. First choice of poison here from MolotovGang puts them upstairs at karaoke and tea. Now, as of now, it sits at a point where they've managed to find the rounds where they can capitalize, but LDL just manages to play better as a team, better as a general idea of how to play this map, and that's exactly why they were able to choose their sides. LDL is on their opponent's map pick, which means MolotovGang might be able to turn it over, similar to what happened on Nighthaven Labs, but if we do see that, we are going to console. All quiet here on the western front. We are realizing it's quiet here. I'm just waiting for the bigger action moments for the boys. But as it stands, upstairs is going to be the site. They are going to have a much more uniform push. Staple operators are being brought. The Twitch drones will manage to get rid of the electric wires, and now the breach into exhibition will get opened up with little to no resistance. Now, damage being dealt, irreparable to two players now, and Brava looks to capitalize, not taking a single damage hit and will land markers onto SN and enough. Who will be the next man to be able to close this out? 3 players now taking essential amounts of damage here from MolotovGang, and the main idea here for LDL is to continue to grow their differential. We saw here on Cafe, regardless of the sides, when it gets up to such a large advantage, it'll be a problem. Even if the defender side of mapping is switch on to defense at a 5-1 split, it'll be a problem. LDL can just continue to do what they're doing. They can try to find these next 2 rounds. They'll have a blast attacking, regardless of how difficult the map might be. Mataraya, though, landing a headshot yet again because he's 14-3, and genuinely just the king. Finding the next dragon, being granted easy access into the shrine. They need to find this F0 that'll allow easy access, and it looks like it's already been shot out. Headholes are granted. The clock is ticking down, and right now LDL find themselves in a good position, but they need to play as a team to get rid of the pressure one by one. It'll be a problem if you can. That's exactly what Lunar knows. He'll take care of Nikon and still more players to deal with. They'll have pressure coming in. C4 evaded in 55 seconds while MolotovGang falls 2 bodies short. One is Lunar's taken care of, and they still have that Vulcan to rely on, but still so much left to be done, especially when the man is still alive. He's an absolute lethal force, and you just can't contest him, but Varayik takes that to person and to heart as Harv shanks Isan and manages to call it a day. You can't be losing the gunfights like that. Frost taken care of, same with Goyo, and it goes the round to LDL as the clear man himself, MVP of Doom, sits with 15 kills next to his name, and they're 1 round shy of the match point. As an interesting way to put us 1 round shy of the match point, LDL now have the momentum to continue and rain their terror through in and out. They're having a good time, finding what's needed to be done, and MolotovGang just don't have a response for that. All about taking care of the bodies that get close to you, especially when it's a problem. Find players around. You can find players right next to you, really, and you need to be able to use your gun skill to the advantage. I mean, it's on getting like shanked in the middle of sight is just going to be a problem, especially when this map is where it can either make or break the series. They'll continue to grow their main idea, get the breaches open first. It's exactly what they'll do. House getting opened up, regardless of having paid, actually. The breach will glitch out yet again. I've only seen it happen on this side. This part of the wall, that red line just isn't going to get opened. And now, glitched. Arf looking to enter on through Geisha, and if he does open up from the wall, he'll be eaten with a Vulcan canister, met with the nice flames. Ihsan now below on the flank, just waiting to either run out here or execute anybody who gets close, meaning the breach is definitely going to try to be denied here or tricked. But no bandit on the board, and it looks like Nikon doesn't have any idea on what the plan is here, as you see two players sitting downstairs, soft roaming, while the others don't really care, as the attackers are going to continue and just proceed on to the normal route of taking terrace and shrine. One bullet from the TCSG is enough to do that much damage. Mataraya needs to do a game of Ring Around the Rosie, because if he gets hit one more time, he will go down. Quite interesting as it plays out here, and now they still need to find pick. 5v5 all leveled, and we're halfway through the round, and one man sitting behind the minibar and a crosshair placed right above his head seems to be just a recipe for disaster. If Dusk ends up, he no longer will have a head if he moves. But since the angle is now let go, he is in the safe. It is going to be a gunfight that relies much closer now on the reliability of your guns. Arv has the drones. He has the intel needed. This intel is going to be a problem. You need to be able to locate where these drones are before they just sneak and freeze on. Mataraya really looking for a gap, but just can't capitalize. These mirrors remain to be a problem as LDL continue to struggle and find a reset area. Smoke grenade trying to be used here to find, but Ina is the first man to find the kill, taking care of Arv here for refrag as well. Ihsan and Nikon team up as Mataraya finds a refrag yet again, but now you are left in a 1v4, and that'll be Ihsan again to give MolotovGang the round. 5-3 is now the name of the game, and MolotovGang have a very achievable comeback here if they can just take this next round. As we advance on to the tier yet again, since the rounds have been played, meaning it'll be a problem. It's been 2 rounds, actually. No objective parameter as we've seen the loss of this section. They're going to be forced to play it before they go for barbecue, because after this, both tier room and exhibition will be locked, forcing them onto the first floor. Now, we've seen what happened. The gradual increase of pressure, they crumbled under. And that'll be a problem if they allow it to continue to happen. But as of now, they've brought that clash, that different operator that we haven't seen a lot of, or actually we haven't seen at all. And hopefully she'll be enough to make a difference here for the defense of Molotov. Bandit looks very committed to having this breach denied. Is there going to be waiting? The Ash has brought everything needed is here, as Twitch is also to deal with it on the front lines. But as of now, we saw how their soft breachers help out. Quite it is. Find it. breach getting opened with little to no contest. Verticality established. Just nothing more you can ask for. 2 minutes left on the clock. It remains still. And something I'm loving about Skyscraper, it's better than all of the maps we've seen here today. We wait until the below 1 minute 30 marker to execute. We've been seeing crazy gunfights emerge because nobody is going to die until that last minute and 30, and somebody's gonna have to be able to try and get courageous and run in through a door, which has mainly just been Mataraya, as he's sitting at 16 kills right now. Closest person on his team is 10 kills away from even touching it. Individual clutch factor needs to be studied for having a generational game, and again, spear entry yet again. He's found himself wedged in between drums now, disrupting anybody trying to rotate from Shrine and having the players in Geisha doubting what they're swinging. All he has to manage now is to keep the body up. Flash definitely going to be a person to deal with, as again, he is going to be a pain in the ass. Drum single, now reinforced, meaning you can sit in drums a little safer now, a little bit unaware of your surroundings, and there's only one C4 maybe going from below, but that is pushing it considering Bandit is communication. Flash is the main person that you have to deal with. She's being a problem, she's being disruptive, and she's also giving live pings to her teammates. As of now, the site is an open concept. You have head holes everywhere. You have to be able to close down the bodies here. You have to be able to win where you can to be able to close it out. Clock just ticking down slowly but surely. And it all matters right here, right now, on who will be able to manage and win the round. Mataraya, yet again, he is just in and out of the building looking for the gap to capitalize upon. And it looks like he has maybe found it. Only one person left with blackness via head holes, but now, still lots to be done. 20 seconds left on the clock, and you're still getting the breach open now. Somebody just needs to swing, as Mataraya needs to be aware of the feed holes that are seen. You know it has to be feed holes, but finally, the killing is now open. Varix onto Mataraya, Zachariah onto Just, as they've now opened up the leaderboard. The refrag onto Varix is almost instant. 4 seconds left on the clock. Clash denying the plant needs to go down in a 1v2 scenario. And the Clash switches to the primary. You're able to deny it, and she barely takes it. You cannot be doing this. You have to plant behind the chassis. And an absolute disaster here for LDL allows the differential to be closed down to just one round. What a round to be seen. As we see a disconnect here, a potential rehost is going to be in our hands. But ladies and gentlemen, what a round here for MolotovGang. Generational. All sprung into action in the last 10 seconds. Essential that you guys need to lock in here. It's a problem. The fact that LDL is giving away God-given gifts, and now the fact that you are on Skyscraper Attack gifted this is a problem that you haven't been able to prioritize. I guess we'll be back when this round starts. Sending us on into our active phase, ladies and gentlemen. We're back, we're starting, we're ready to play. And this is going to be a problem here for Molotov. I mean, they've managed to bring it back. They've managed to hold on consistently. But having this one site to deal with is going to be a pain in the ass, especially after your long range there. LDL really floating, but now you just have one man you're relying on. He's near 20 kills now. And you having everybody else with mid to low stats. Taking a look, though, at MolotovGang, you have 3 players at 7, 1 at 2, and 5th at 3. I mean, it's all getting distributed somewhat evenly, or more evenly than LDL's scoreline, which you have 17 compared to 6. It's a problem. I mean, you can't blame a player for being too successful, but just some teamwork needs to be seen in these next upcoming rounds if you want to see a successful play. they look to get active some way, somehow. Maverick closing out the wire. Might have been able to actually find a body here, but just to no avail. Soon to be the ace opening up here the geisha wall, and from here on out, they're just going to have to rely on the ability to find the kills. Seconds in, and as the challenge is actually far more progress than expected. Long terrace angle might be able to deny Mataraya, but it's just not quite open to be able to do the job. And again, Mataraya doesn't walk in, but this time, different outcome as he'll fall to Esan, and now he's forced to rotate back down. It's a barbecue site, you can just rotate back down to the floor, and you're back up. Zachariah taken care of next, and now it looks like MolotovGang might send us here to map 5 as they are taking their sweet old time. Verticality being established. I feel like doing it right in front of these attackers isn't the best of ideas, but Uncertain finally getting his team and himself on the board, finding a son, and now that's the refrag, but oh so late. 2 bodies taken care of now, and you've still not established verticality. Looking for the frags here, just trying to land the bullets, taking the event damage and having to hop down stairs, having to reseek refuge back in the site. And now the verticality is somewhat being established here via soft, but still going to be a problem. You don't have to worry about the C4s because they've all been used already, but still, you're not close to anywhere of dissecting the site. Nobody has the heroics right now. They're all taking the sweet time to be thrown out, but you have 45 seconds, and we've seen what happens when you are punched into time. Stay close in roamer and roamer to find something. They cannot find anything right now. Flame bolts, what are they going to do here? Maybe just deny the person off the reinforcement. There's no one there. Smoke it off, yes, but what happens when they continue to just spray it? 3 bodies above. You're going to have to leave one to watch the flank here. Sal looking to get lucky. Ace just committing here to the plant, but someone's just going to have to be mindful of your surroundings. Castle looking to just walk in, but the plant looks to be denied, and it looks like we potentially might be going to map 3. The continuous aggression met here by MVG is just being played out beautifully. Harv, no matter what you're going to do, it's over, as you are now leveled up at 5-5, and MolotovGang make a 3-round comeback as they close that deficit down to just 0. Problem you need to address. Can't be losing rounds when you need them the most. But it looks like, ladies and gentlemen, MolotovGang is on a terror reign, and if they can manage to continue to do this, we are going to map 5. Whoever wins this round, regardless, will take us on to match points. Exhibition, that site that's been also interesting to watch, is going to be in the favor of MolotovGang. They're gifted defense until the very end, unless they go to overtime. So they're going to have to try to find something to reel it on in, but it'll be a problem unless they can find something. Is running down. What is the play here for LDL? No timeout being called, surprisingly, after losing a very, very large lead. They needed everything, and now they've lost it. All about taking it home here, and for now, they just don't have what is needed to be able to find it. As it stands, you have all of the bodies in and around the site, taking their sweet old time to be able to find the site. But we know how LDL's been rushing and not been able to find anything. Mataraya gets shut out. Your whole attack is now crumbled, and you can't rely on anything. can't find it because that window is blocked off by a volcanic canister. Breaches being open, taking their sweet old time to try and capitalize. Now playing aggressive as well. They are looking to dissect here. Sakurai needs to find the strength. Finally, we'll be able to do that. Some leeway found here for LDL. They've struggled to do that for the last couple of rounds. And now you'll have Goyo just planted in the middle of the room here. They'll try to see correct sight. Somehow, Lunar doesn't manage to capitalize, leaving 2 players in-house here and plenty of time for them to be able to capitalize. The clock continues to run down. The statue stands between Mira and Lunar. Crack Stingers will rain on in. In the situation, he goes down, he meets his maker, and now First Blood yet again finds Mr. Top Frag. And now it is a 5v4 as Lunar finds a response to take care of Nikon. He's 3-10, not having the best of games, but still his teammates are taking that weight and bearing it upon their shoulders. Har finds one, but a response comes in from Ina to take care of Zachariah, as now it's left here at a 3v3 situation. And we've seen what happens on this site when it gets below that 1-minute marker. Lunar finding a second, and they need to be careful of the surroundings, but it just looks like Lunar, the only surroundings he knows are headshots, as he finds 3 this round and looks to capitalize upon Hassan, but it's hard to close it out, putting them finally at the match point. And that's the teamwork between LDL to push them that one step further. One more round and they've closed it out. MolotovGang now just need to force it into overtime, as we will proceed on to an infinite overtime if that doesn't happen. The stage is set as we'll move on to tea and karaoke. We've seen how it's played before, and it's going to be a problem if they can't play it better than that. They've won it once and they've lost it once, and both rounds were a little interesting. One of them, somebody got knifed, the other one, gunfights just ensuing all over the map, and you just didn't have enough time to capitalize. All about your teamwork, and the clash isn't fought. I've just realized Blackbeard hasn't been banned this whole time. Could be a problem here, but let's see how it'll play it out. All quiet on the western front. The utility looks to be starved out here. Goyo gonna go for a run, or just waiting to get one, maybe. Maybe that aggression that's waiting, but I mean, Harvest smarter than that, waiting to be able to execute. As the repel is just going to fade in, he is going to wait to capitalize. A little bit of a tricky situation, though, here. Harv, no way that's the smartest of ideas, and it is, because he'll capitalize, and Hassan really thinks he's Bolo, as he'll get taken care of, and that is First Blood here, taking care of a very vital player. Clock ticking down here. Lunar waltzing on into offices and exhibition here, taking that control alongside with Mataraya, as they've now found one body. They can slow down and be able to reevaluate the push here, as they just need to be able to push the shield off, not allow any flanking support to have a beautiful time. To make matters worse, I don't know, just sees a frag grenade flying at his head, and he takes that as initiative to stand on it. And heroics go to absolutely nothing, as he will lose his body, giving them a 3v5, setting them up perfectly here for a planned situation. Mute sitting in a very large, long corner and tries to take refuge into the site, and will get tagged up, but safely will be recovered. Now, leaving them up here, a minute 10 left on the clock. The drones raining in. They're taking their sweet time to find this intel. And this player playing the bottom of the stairs is going to be a problem. The sushi bar player is going to be annoying to deal with. He's taking his time. He's waiting to capitalize, and that's all that matters. Now, though, Blackbeard just walks in, finds the third. That'll be a 2v5 as Lunar has gotten himself on the board. Goes down, but the heroics are already done. Dusted as now Zach looks to capitalize, makes it a 1v5. And ladies and gentlemen, are we going home? It looks like LDL have found their footing, but still 1v4 situation closed out by Mataraya, sitting at 18 kills and 8 deaths, closing it out. Now, shutting out this grand final and putting LDL done, dusted, and sending MVG home. We thought the comeback was imminent, but it just couldn't happen in a timely fashion. They really tried their best. That was some of the most entertaining siege I've seen this weekend, but it'll eventually be LDL to claim the series 3-1 4 maps in. If you guys did enjoy this stream, they're 2 main players. Let's see if we have any words. You guys have any words you want to say to the stream before we end off?
GG's.
Yeah, that's definitely not what you were saying before. Alright, guys, have a good day.
Give me my money.
I was gonna say you're welcome. Whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, if you did enjoy today's stream, make sure to leave a follow, subscribe if you're feeling naughty. Stay tuned for the next cast. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. I've been Sino, your caster, your producer, your observer, literally everything. But I hope you guys have a good rest of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Pop, 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 peace.